What do we have on this video? We have an exclusive fantasy football contest. We're gonna be previewing NFL games for this week. And of course, my NFL DFS picks. All that coming right up. What's going on, fantasy football fans? I'm your host, Hussein the Brain, and you're watching the couch. These are my Week 13 NFL DFS picks. We're going to be bringing back the fantasy football contest, but this week we're going to be doing it a little bit differently. It's a 50 participant beginners contest. It's $3 to enter. First place will win a fantasy couch t-shirt of your choice. You get to select any t-shirt and you'll also win a cash prize. Top places will also win cash prizes. If it's your first time on DraftKings and you deposit $5 or more, you'll get free entry in this contest. On top of that, if it's your first time playing, you enter, I will give you a fantasy couch swag pack no matter if you finish 50th place or first place. As long as it's your first time playing, you just got to hit me up. Let me know your username. I'll check, make sure it's your first time, and boom, you get a fantasy couch swag pack. To enter the contest, all you got to do is follow the link below, select your lineup, and hit that enter button. Boom, you're in. By playing in this contest, guys, it also helps support this channel, helps me keep making awesome videos like this one. Now on to the DFS picks. The #1 rated quarterback on every website just about is going to be Tom Brady. He has a good floor, very high floor. He's very reliable and a pretty good ceiling. Like, he's always going to throw the ball. He's always going to play well. We know that the Patriots are a great team. Even when they're blowing teams out, Tom Brady still does well. And I think if you're not picking Tom Brady, you can go with like nearly 20 other options that are legitimate options to pick from, like realistic picks, and it may not really matter. That's why I want to focus more on the other positions. So if you want to play it safe, if you want to go with the #1 quarterback, go with Tom Brady. In this video, we're going to be mainly focusing on the main slate, so that's players that play Sunday only. For GPPs, meaning tournaments where we like to pick contrarian players, I'm going with Jameis Winston. He's returning from an injury. He's probably the most inconsistent quarterback. And when I say the word inconsistent, I just mean factual, like inconsistent, like he's up and down, not necessarily with a negative connotation, or not necessarily talking down on Jameis Winston, even though he's inaccurate. That's bad. But as far as being inconsistent, that's what we like. We like boomer bust players. In GPPs, he has a great matchup. He's coming back off an injury, hasn't played well in season. A lot of people play season-long leagues. He's been dropped in a lot of leagues. He's been benched in a lot of leagues. And I think his ownership's not going to be that high. I expect him to have Deshaun Jackson. He will have Mike Evans. He has 2 good tight ends. This should be a good game. And Doug Martin's probably not going to play too. Is there risk? It's probably the most riskiest pick out of all quarterbacks. That's why I love it. What's his price? He's cheap too. $5,600. I love it. And I don't think the Bucs defense is going to be that good either. So, you know, if you're looking for a GPP pick, that's my #1 guy. And let's go to a cheap option. One of the cheapest options I like is Brett Hundley playing against the Buccaneers. This is the same game we're talking about. He had a pretty good game last week. I think the Bucs secondary, their pass defense, isn't that good. I think Brett Hundley is similar to Jameis Winston as far as being risky and up and down, whatever, all that stuff. But I like him more, not necessarily as a GPP pick, but to save money. And let's compare his price to Tom Brady. So Tom Brady's $7,800. Brett Hundley, sometimes I get him mixed up with Brett Favre. Brett Hundley is $5,100. So the price difference is quite a bit. That's $2,700 difference in price. Big deal. So if you need to save money, I like Brett Hundley. And like I was saying, let's concentrate on the other positions. Quarterback may not matter, especially in cash games. The #1 running back I have is Todd Gurley. He's going to be the most reliable and have a good amount of upside as well. You're going to have to pay up for him, up, with the price tag of $8,200. But if that's what you like, if you have Brett Hundley, you really need to get Gurley in your lineup in a cash game. As far as GPPs, we have a lot of options. Now, to save a little bit, I have Melvin Gordon. I think it's a similar type of situation to Gurley, as in like he's going to be really good. I like Gurley more though. Melvin Gordon is priced 7,600 going against the Browns. Now, in a cash game, this is a good option. Let's say you pick Tom Brady and it's going to be tough to afford a guy like Gurley. This is a good strategy to do. So cash games, of course, are 50-50s, double ups head to head. You can pick both Jordan Howard and Carlos Hyde. It's going to be hard to fade a guy like Carlos Hyde. In a GPP, yeah, you might be able to fade him, but in a cash game, I really like both these running backs. The strategy is cool because they kind of cancel each other out. There's still some upside there. They're playing each other, by the way, the Bears and the Niners. You figure in a game like this, both running backs may not do well, but at least one will do well, and the other may not be so bad. So it's a low risk situation. You can do it in GPP as well, but I think this is a smart decision in a cash game if you want to pick both these guys. And in a cash game, a lot of times I like to pick a running back in that flex spot, definitely not a tight end. It's a bit risky. I sometimes do that in a GPP to differentiate myself from other lineups. Now on to some cheap picks. We have Kenyon Drake. I just really wanted to mention him, not a guy I'm gonna recommend really tough, but 4,900, you got Ajayi out and Damian Williams. I don't think he's gonna play. So Kenyon Drake's the only running back on the Dolphins basically, and that's why I wanted to discuss him. As far as it being risky, it's very risky. This could be a disaster game for the Dolphins, like super risky when you pick any Dolphins this week. And the best value running back hands down is going to be Jamal Williams at 4,700 going against the Bucs. We saw him have a great game last week, and I'm not going all goo goo gaga over last game. It's not about that. This is about his price point. His price was basically set last week before this game, okay? So he played Monday night and DraftKings basically couldn't adjust it in time. This is more based on, you know, like 2 weeks ago, like if we had to pretty much price this guy. So he's underpriced. And if Ty Montgomery doesn't play, he's unlikely to play. Aaron Jones is definitely not going to play. Jamal Williams is going to be chalk. He's going to be a very smart pick in cash games. And this will save you so much money. With the salary relief, you just can't pass up a guy like this in cash. Another topic I wanted to discuss, not necessarily recommend to you guys, is Doug Martin. He's trending like he's not going to play. The Buccaneers didn't announce yet that Martin is out, but it sure seems that way. So we're expecting him not to play. Now, who's going to get the majority of the touches in that backfield for Tampa Bay? So we have Jacquizz Rodgers priced at 4,300. Gosh, we've been talking about this Tampa Bay Green Bay game a lot. And we have Peyton Barber priced at 3,900. I think most depth charts, if you look right now as I'm recording this video, and most sites, they'll probably tell you that Jacquizz Rodgers is the starter. You know, after Doug Martin, of course, he's next in line. But I think Peyton Barber is more talented. He's better. I think Jacquizz Rodgers is on the decline. I just don't see it. It could be a 50-50 split. It probably will be something like that. Like, that's very expected. But if I had to pick between the two, let's even throw out the prices, I take a risk on Peyton Barber. Look, Peyton Barber is 3,900. I don't know what kind of contest you're in, but man, that salary relief is amazing. Look, Jamal Williams is so cheap, and Peyton Barber is 800 cheaper than Jamal Williams. So Barber is basically minimum price. Absolute minimum would be 3,500. I love it. Risky pick if Doug Martin is out. A guy you might want to at least consider. For wide receivers, I got studs that are really good here, and that's why I was so focused on guys like Jamal Williams and Brett Hundley to save up if you want to get one or two of these studs. In a cash game, I love DeAndre Hopkins. Just amazing floor, amazing ceiling. His price is also very good. I won't say it's out of this world, but I think his price point is very good. Only 7,300 going against the Titans. We know they don't have a good secondary. Let's write him down for 7 receptions and see if he can get a touchdown. Like, guaranteed 7 receptions. This guy's absolute stud and is very reliable. For GPPs, I'm going with Mike Evans, a guy you can't trust, but a guy with a ton of upside. He's got an excellent matchup, and he has let us down, okay? He's let us down when he's been covered by a good cornerback like Patrick Peterson. He's let us down when he's had good matchups like the one he had last week. But man, I'm telling you, a lot of people are going to be down on him. He's going to be super contrarian. I absolutely love this pick as a contrarian pick. I think the Packers are going to be able to score and Winston's going to be able to throw. This team is up and down, and this guy, Mike Evans, has a lot of potential. Another reason Evans is going to be contrarian is because there's a better wide receiver who's cheaper. And just because someone's better, this isn't season long, guys, this is DFS. Just because someone's better doesn't mean they're going to perform better. Things happen all the time, and that's why we go contrarian when it comes to GPP. Now, you want an awesome pick, and look at this price point and look at the floor. This guy's going to be amazing this week. We have Michael Thomas going against a poor secondary in the Panthers. They have a good front seven, but not a great pass defense. Michael Thomas, I think this is the game where he blows up. 2 touchdowns, 90 plus yards, maybe 110 yards. He's got that type of potential. The floor is okay. I think his floor is decent, but his upside through the roof. I would not be shocked if Michael Thomas was wide receiver 1 or 2 this week. 2 awesome GPP picks right here. Stephon Diggs, 6,200, great matchup. People are down on him now that Thielen's stock is rising. People are down on Diggs. Diggs is still a good receiver, but good amount of risk, right? And another reason I really like Diggs is, well, kind of contrarian because his price is not super cheap. Like, his price is mid-range. Like, it's priced okay. But the Falcons are a little bit banged up in the secondary, so he could be matched up against the 3rd best or 4th best corner on the Falcons. I love that individual matchup. We know how good Diggs can be, and we all know Case Keenum is a baller. Also, this game is in Atlanta. Atlanta's favored to win. Could be a little bit high-scoring game here. A lot of players can go off. It's tough to predict which ones, but I see good games out of both these offenses. I think the Falcons will put up points, and I think the Vikings will put up points. Another guy I like is Golden Tate, priced at 6,100. This is purely GPP, purely a contrarian pick. People are so down on Tate. And one awesome thing is when I answer fantasy football questions, a lot of people are like, should I start Tate? And the guy they're putting up against, like, should I start Tate or this really, really crappy guy? I'm like, dude, are you kidding me? Like, don't start that guy. Start Golden Tate. And I don't think he'll be matched up against Jimmy Smith. That's another plus. Look, I like it, man. I think Golden Tate will get his. He's pretty risky. And I think the Lions will have to throw the ball in the 4th quarter as well. We know they can't run. So why would they be able to run against the Ravens, which is actually a good run defense? It's not going to happen. So Stafford's going to throw the ball a lot. Maybe Golden Tate breaks off 1 or 2 of those screen passes, those short passes, which he did in about half the games he's played this year. Okay, 2 more topics we got to talk about as far as wide receivers go. Okay, so the Colts defense is not that good. And now Rasheed Melvin, their top cornerback, I would say their only real corner, like they have no cornerbacks, no secondary other than this guy, Rasheed Melvin. He's going to be out for an extended amount of time. Now, you can go with any Jaguars wide receiver, like Marquise Lee's a good start. You might be able to go Cole. I like Westbrook in a GPP. I think this is the matchup where he has this high ceiling. And he has no breakout games. He might be a little bit of a sleeper. And the price point is good, $4,100. That's going to give you a lot of salary relief. So I like the upside here. On top of that, as we already know, Allen Hurns is likely going to miss another game. And my favorite topic we talked a lot about on the Couchcast Fantasy Football Podcast, if you guys check that out, is Josh Gordon. I mean, that podcast was basically the Josh Gordon show. And man, at $4,100, this is really cheap. And he has the Browns offense, the Browns passing offense has a tough matchup. They're going against the Chargers, really good defense. But Casey Hayward, he didn't practice because of personal issues. He had a death in the family. There's a small chance he does not play this week. Casey Hayward, that is. possibly the best cornerback in the league. Definitely the best cornerback on the Chargers. I expect him to play. He's probably going to play, okay? But he's probably also going to be matched up against Corey Coleman. Might even shadow Corey Coleman. That's the other Browns receiver. This gives Josh Gordon some opportunity. Look, the risk is there. His name is big, but I don't think the hype is that big. I think he'll be a contrarian. And maybe in these $3 leagues, like some people might be bold enough to pick him. But in the entries where it's $20 or more, I don't think that many people are going to be that bold to pick Josh Gordon. I know I'm probably going to have Josh Gordon in 1 or 2 lineups. Like, it's because of Josh Gordon is one reason I'm probably going to enter more than one lineup this week, just so hey, I got Josh Gordon in some of them, okay? I think this guy has a ton of potential. Those last 2 wide receivers I mentioned, Gordon and Westbrook, they're a little bit risky. Okay, very risky. There's 2 guys that are cheaper and much less risky. That's Dontrell Inman and Randall Cobb. They're both priced at $3,900. I like Randall Cobb much more if I'm trying to play it safe, if I need someone reliable. And Dontrell Inman is a little bit more risky. Not a guy I'm crazy about, but he's got a cheap price, and we all like cheap prices and salary relief. I'm feeling really smart when it comes to these tight ends. I think I got it all figured out for week 13. Tough thing to say out loud, knowing that picking tight ends is really tough. Okay. Kelsey had a poor game last week. The Chiefs have been getting pummeled by the media, and everyone knows their offense sucks. Their offense hasn't been good. It's out of whack as of recent. Kelsey's actually been good, regardless of how the Chiefs have been doing, quote unquote, have been doing. Like, I'm not right now, I'm just not saying if the Chiefs are good or not. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just talking about public perception. Kelsey's still been pretty good. He's got a good matchup this week. He's priced kind of high. I mean, deservingly, he should be priced high. His second most expensive tight end out of all the tight ends, priced at $7,000. He has a good matchup. He has all the talent, and people will be down on him. I like this pick in both cash games and GPP. Look, if you need to save up, you can't afford a guy like Kelsey. But man, I'm telling you, this is slated to be a good game. I'm actually very confident Kelsey will have a good game. We'll see how he does. When it comes to GPPs, a lot of people know who Geno Smith is and know how trash he is. He might make a couple plays here and there, but Geno Smith is almost certainly also going to make a few plays that causes his team to lose. And a lot of people won't pick Evan Ingram. I might be as bold to do so. His price is kind of high. He's been garbage the last couple games. Nobody's going to pick this guy. Has a great matchup. Has Geno Smith throwing him the ball. But if you really think about it, Sterling Shepard is back. Geno Smith is there. It's more of a, I'd say Evan Ingram is a total wild card. He could get you nothing. He could get 2 fantasy points, or he could get 20. I really believe that. If he's covered one-on-one, or if he's someone open, Geno Smith might look to him even more than Eli Manning has. Will it happen? I don't know, but that's why I like him in a GPP. Sticking to the same game, on the other side of the field, we have Jared Cook, much more reliable, also great matchup. The Giants have been atrocious against the tight end. Now, he's a little bit expensive for me, $5,400, but I do like Jared Cook, with Crabtree definitely out with a suspension, and Amari Cooper looking like he's going to miss some time. I don't think he's going to play. He has 2 injuries, concussion and ankle injury. So, Jared Cook, man, talk about chalk though. A lot of people are going to pick Jared Cook. And of course, I like to be a little bit different. So I am saying Jared Cook is a good pick, but let's go to some cheaper picks. $700 cheaper than Cook. We have Hunter Henry. More risk with Hunter Henry, but a great matchup. The Browns are atrocious against the tight end. Phillip Rivers is on fire. I think Hunter Henry will ball out and return value. If you want to go cheaper, man, I got Rudolph at $4,500 going against the Falcons. This is super safe. I think with this type of price point, if Rudolph doesn't have a good game, if he doesn't get in the end zone, you can still have a winning lineup. You can still finish in the green. Austin Seferian-Jenkins, huge disappointment as of late. Last few weeks, he just hasn't been good and continues to still get touchdowns and then not get the touchdown because the call was reversed, or it was almost a touchdown, but it ends up being incomplete, or whatever reversal call they decide to make. All right, whatever. 4,000 playing against the Chiefs. Okay matchup. I think Austin Seferian-Jenkins will get a lot of targets. This is a good price for him, a good bounce back candidate. And that was my cheapest tight end I'd really recommend. So I want to always give you guys studs, you know, contrarian picks, safe picks, and of course cheap picks. When I first looked at defenses, it looked a little messy to me because we have the Jaguars. Everyone loves them. #1 defense in fantasy. You know, good matchup going against Jacoby Brissett. But that price is so high. So then we go on to the Chargers. But man, then you got this Casey Hayward situation. It's not a big deal. He's probably going to play. But you also have Josh Gordon starting. This introduces a little bit of risk. Okay. And that's 4,000. They're the second highest price. I do love both those defenses. And if you can afford it, go with one of those too. Especially the Jags. I absolutely just love the Jags defense. And the Jags are at home. Chargers are at home too, but I like the Jags even more. They're just so reliable. They always seem to make at least one big play or hold the defense to getting virtually no points. Let's really study some cheaper options though. I have a gut feeling about the Ravens defense. I think they'll be good. I'm not saying they're the best defense this week or anything. I just think that team's gonna get a win. I think they're gonna hold Stafford in check. I don't see anybody going off. I don't see Riddick going off. I don't see the tight ends going off, Ebron or Fells. I don't see Amir Abdullah going off. You know, all they really got to do is hold those 3 receivers, Galladay, Marv Jones, and Tate in check. I think they can do it. Stafford is a little bit hobbled, a little bit injured. I expect him to play. I expect him to be able to throw well, but he's probably not going to be able to move around too much and avoid that Ravens amazing pass rush. I think they're going to do it, guys. I think we're going to see some sacks. We're going to see a lot of QB pressures. We're going to see Stafford a little bit flustered. Really, the only thing that can happen this game is a miracle comeback by Stafford to take off some fantasy points that we would have had with the Ravens D. And look, that is $1,400 cheaper than the Jaguars. It's going to be tough to build a lineup if you have the Jaguars D in there. At the same price point, we have the Raiders defense. I love them as a streaming option and season long. And what's there not to like when it comes to DFS? They're playing against the Giants led by Geno Smith. The Giants' morale and just how they're going to be, how pumped they are to play this game, they're not really pumped up. They can fall flat. I like the Raiders a little bit more because they're at home. Their defense has been playing a little bit better. They're still a bad defense though, don't get me wrong. And there's a lot of risk involved if you do pick the Raiders D. Another high risk defense is the Broncos D at 3,000. So that's 100 cheaper than the Ravens or the Raiders defense. They're playing Miami. Very risky defense as they've been playing like trash the last few weeks. Aqib Talib is suspended. But like I was saying earlier, I think the Dolphins have the potential to fall flat. I really think this could be a disaster game for the Dolphins. This could be a very low scoring game too. If the Broncos keep their turnovers in check and who's the starter? Simeon? Simeon's likely the starter. If Simeon doesn't throw any picks, I think this could be a close game and the Broncos D could win it. The Dolphins have never scored a ton of points. So as long as they don't give up any big plays, they only have 1 running back. I think the Broncos D can do this, guys. This is an upside pick though. And 2 other defenses I just want to throw out. They're pure punts. Don't have much confidence in them, and that's the Giants defense and the Texans D. I was going to mention the Colts, but now that I find out that they're banged up, I'm not going to mention them. And I had the Jets down as well here, but I don't like them now that I'm thinking that the Chiefs, this could be a good bounce back game for the Chiefs. Now, I don't know if it's going to be a good bounce back game. I'm just saying there's a good chance, a realistic chance. I know how bad the Chiefs offense has been. I do believe there's a realistic chance the Chiefs bounce back. May not put up 4 or 5 touchdowns, but I think they can do enough to win this game. So the Giants are 2,500 playing against the Raiders. Raiders are banged up, obviously. No Cooper, no Crabtree. And the Texans are 2,400 playing against the Titans. Those 2 options are purely punts, only mentioning them because they're cheap. And any other defense that's cheaper than 2,400, I'd totally stay away from this week. Make sure you guys enter the Fantasy Couch Fans contest. Just follow the link below. If you haven't already, hit the couch icon over here. Subscribe to the channel. Thumbs up, like the video, and if you're asking a fantasy football question, make sure you use hashtag AskTheBrain. I'll see you guys on the next video.